Two of the best genres to play on mobile are tower defense games and deck building games, and when I found out that Isle of Arrows is a mixture between the two, I knew I had to give it a try. Let's check it out. Right off the bat, you can tell that Isle of Arrows is going for that minimalist vibe, and it almost feels like an art piece in a way. I really like the simplicity of the visuals, and the sound effects are straightforward, sharp, and really clear, and I do like the music whenever it does happen. However, I did feel like there was a lack of music during the actual gameplay itself. I wish it played more often and there was more of it, but still, it's a great package altogether when it comes to the art style and sound design of Isle of Arrows. As I mentioned before, Isle of Arrows is a mixture between a deck building game and a tower defense game, and it actually works quite well, and it has kind of a puzzle game element to the feeling overall, so it's a great mixture. But the way it works is you start off on a battlefield, so to speak, and this is limited in space, and there's usually a short or kind of simple pathway for enemies to go down and an endpoint that you have to guard. In between each wave of enemy, you draw a card, and this card can range from defensive structures to buildings that will add to your materials or add to your gold, and each one has different space that they need allocated so that you can place it. And then there's bombs that you can acquire, which is another material, so to speak, that can clear up space so that you can place turrets or kind of edit what you've already placed down and stuff like that. Now, you can spend gold in order to draw another card after you already utilized a card, or if you don't like a card, you can spend gold to move on to the next card and so forth. So you kind of have to manage your gold and strategize which cards to pass on and which cards to use, and it's really cool. Because of these aforementioned mechanics, you're basically building your own level every single time, and you just have to play around the amount of space you have allocated to you. But even if you have the right materials, you can add on to that land, and you can create your own pathways. It's just crazy. Every single time you play this game, it's completely different. There is limitless possibilities, and I really love that. I was pleasantly surprised by the game modes on offer here. There is a campaign mode that teaches you the ropes of the game, and it was a blast to play through. And by playing that, you unlock a gauntlet mode, which is this game's version of an endless mode or a survival mode, and that one gets really chaotic the longer you play it. And then there's a daily challenge mode that puts weird factors into the equation, and you have to adjust on the fly, and some of these levels are crazy wacky and really fun to play around with. It's important to note that Isle of Arrows is a portrait mode only game, and I actually think this plays very well in this orientation, and I'm a little bit biased because I prefer my mobile games to be in portrait mode. Isle of Arrows is a completely premium game with no in-app purchases to speak of, and it's available for $5.99. And I think this is a really fair asking price with all of these game modes on offer, especially with the daily challenge mode that gives you something new every single day. All in all, I really enjoyed Isle of Arrows and its mixture of deck building, tower defense, and puzzle game elements. They really come together to create massive replayability, especially with the game modes on offer here, and I love playing it on touchscreen. It works so well in portrait orientation, and I think this is the definitive way to play Isle of Arrows, even though it's still available on Steam. It's a premium experience, and if you enjoy deck building games, or tower defense games, or puzzle games, or a mixture of all three, definitely check this one out. The link to the game is in the description down below. Alright guys, that was my review for Isle of Arrows. Don't forget to leave a like, pop a sub, and comment, especially if it helped you out or you enjoyed it in any way, because that really helps me out. I love you guys. I hope you guys are staying safe, and take it easy.